Welcome to yet another segment. Today we have none other than Charlie. Hey Charlie, he has done it again.
Hello, Jessica. Oh, yes. Indeed, he did, and it's sad to see.
Here's what I don't understand. When will Morant learn that everything he does on the court is being watched? The NBA just witnessed something remarkable. A simple hand gesture that sparked league-wide warnings, team scrutiny, and a national conversation about player responsibility. But there's a deeper story here about culture, influence, and the pressure of being in the spotlight.
You know what fascinates me about this whole situation? How something so common in basketball culture suddenly becomes controversial because of who's doing it.
Let's break this down. During Tuesday's game, we saw Steph Curry, Buddy Hield, and Morant all making game-winning gesture, but one that immediately caught the NBA's attention is Morant gun hand gesture. The league had to step in with warnings to the point where he is now being investigated.
But would we even be discussing this if it wasn't for Ja's previous incidents?
That's exactly the point. Ja's past has created this situation where everything he does is under intense scrutiny. Because of his past discrepancies, he should not be doing that. My question is, if he didn't have those two prior incidents where he was investigated, would we even be talking about it? And the answer is no. We would not be talking about it.
Well, that makes the timing of all this even more crucial, doesn't it? I feel like he's so important the way he's playing right now, he has to be smarter than that. And I get it, you get caught in the game but it's like you've had these issues and you have got to be smarter to be available for your team. Not only that, how about the kids watching this? He has to be a role model, both on the court and outside the game. It is not a normalized gesture considering the world we are living. My message to Morant: please focus on the game and make better choices.
Well said, Charlie. The Grizzlies have slipped from near the top of the Western Conference to fighting for a play-in spot. And here's what's really concerning. They're 4-14 against teams ahead of them in the West, and 11-23 against teams over 500. Those statistics basically force their hand with the recent coaching change.
Speaking of changes, how do you see this affecting their playoff chances?
With 4 of their final 6 games on the road, they're in a really tough spot. They need to go 5-1 just to have a realistic shot at avoiding the play-in tournament, and nobody wants to face Oklahoma City in the first round right now.
The pressure on these young players must be intense, especially with social media criticizing every move players make. I personally would not be on their shoes.
You know, that's such an important point. In the past, a gesture like this might have gone unnoticed. Now it becomes instant viral content, analyzed and debated across multiple platforms within minutes.
Like, it's almost as if these players have to be their own PR firms while still focusing on their game.
Exactly. And that's what makes this situation so complex. The NBA is trying to balance player expression with professional standards, all while considering the impact on younger fans who emulate everything these players do.
Well, that brings up an interesting point about the evolution of the league itself.
Oh, absolutely. We're seeing teams invest heavily in player development programs that go way beyond basketball skills. They're bringing in media training, financial advisors, mental health professionals. It's becoming this comprehensive approach to player development.
So what do you think this means for the future of player behavior in the NBA?
I think we're going to see a continued evolution in how teams approach these issues. The stakes are just too high, both financially and competitively. For the Grizzlies specifically, they need Ja to maintain his incredible on-court performance, those 30-point games, those highlight reel plays, while being extra mindful of his public image.
That's quite a balancing act for a young player.
It really is, and here's what makes it even more challenging. The Grizzlies' defensive struggles are adding extra pressure. When Jaren Jackson Jr. gets into foul trouble, which has been happening in big games, it creates this domino effect that impacts the entire team's performance.
The modern NBA player really has to juggle so many different responsibilities.
And that's why I think this gesture incident is so significant. It's not just about the gesture itself. It's about understanding the massive platform these players have. When you're averaging 30 points per game and millions of kids are watching your every move, everything you do carries extra weight.
Do you think we'll see any long-term changes in how the league handles these situations?
Looking ahead, I believe the NBA will continue to refine its approach. They've been relatively lenient with celebrations compared to other leagues, but they're also clearly drawing lines when it comes to anything that could be interpreted negatively. For players like Ja, the key will be finding that sweet spot between authentic expression and professional responsibility.
Sounds like the future of the NBA is about much more than just what happens on the court.
You're right. It's about creating a sustainable culture that allows for personal expression while maintaining professional standards. And for the Grizzlies, these final 6 games will be a real test of their ability to handle that pressure while fighting for their playoff lives.